If you would keep me waiting, I would wait a lifetime. In tricky situations, I will be a lifeline.
All right, welcome back. It's the Built by Vitality podcast. As always, my name is Steve Pinkerton, and I'm sitting next to
Philip Lewis.
Today's episode, we are going to talk about mental health.
Yep.
And some ways to take care of ourselves. I just don't think we do a good enough job performing some self-maintenance.
No.
I don't think we do that. I think we convince ourselves that we're just going to be okay and we'll power through it. And, man, we just wear ourselves out. And we underestimate what
Stretch
that
ourselves
does.
too thin.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of times.
You know, we'll. I mean, the list of things that we're going to talk about is certainly not exhaustive. I mean, it's not going to be the entire list of options out there. There's so many options out there, and it's so individualized. This isn't like one of those things where you can cookie cutter this and say, oh, well, this works for Phil. It doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
If I did what Phil did to decompress, I would
Stressed out more.
Oh, I would have some serious mental health issues. But I think that, mental health doesn't get the recognition that it does. I think that it gets overlooked. I think that this whole pandemic over the last couple of years has been completely pointed towards mental health issues that no one is recognizing. No one is like saying, hey, you know what? Some of these issues could be because we've scared the living hell out of people for the last 2+ years. They've lived in fear, constantly afraid of everything in their shadow. Mm-hmm. I don't know why people are so high-strung, stressed out, and have mental health issues. I mean, come on. So I hope at the end of this, we at least recognize some of the telltale signs of some of these issues that you're going to experience, and then take one of these recommendations we give you and perform some self-care, perform some maintenance. Nobody's going to use a car for 40 years and never put any maintenance into it.
Yeah.
Okay? It just doesn't, it doesn't work. You got to change filters in your refrigerator if it gives out if it's one of those water
red light,
it'll pop out every 6 months. It's a stinking refrigerator.
Yeah, you still got to maintain it.
And I would say the human body could be just a touch more complex than a Frigidaire.
Yeah.
So, before I give my top 3, what are your top 3 things that you think would benefit people in improving their mental health? And and I would say this would be like a stress relief. It could be something that like hit the old reset. When I lay down and take a little nap in the afternoons, and I recharge the batteries. What's your 3 things for you that?
Oh man, I think probably my number one thing would be cut things out. Just cut things out.
What do you mean?
Usually most people are stressed or on edge just because they got too much going on. They did it to themselves.
Self-imposed.
Yes, I think they're at a job they hate. They got married, had 32 kids, and maybe they only should have had 2 kids. Maybe
tell them to get divorced and quit their job?
No. I'm saying they just started stacking these things before they know it. They're really deep into this.
I was going to say that could be a tough, little fork in the road that we took right there.
So I think if you don't want to do something we've talked about before, saying no to things. If your first reaction is, oh, yeah, let's do that. Heck yeah, then okay, do it. But if you got to hesitate a little bit and you're like, I don't know if I want to do that, or are they going to think this if I don't? You probably just shouldn't, because when you go, you're going to be stressed out even more. So you think
people are committing to too many things?
Yeah, there's too much going on.
What's next?
Just cut it out. Oh, gosh, man. Sleep.
Okay.
Need to sleep more.
All right.
Obviously, we've talked about before, I think the less you sleep, the more on edge you are. Then you get sick, and if you're on edge, plus you're sick, so it makes you a little more on edge. I think they just piles up on top of each other because you're not rested, and your body isn't performing well enough to take on whatever stress it is.
Yeah, okay, I'm with you.
If my body's performing optimal, I can handle more stress. If I'm feeling crappy and getting enough sleep, I can't handle as much, and it takes more of a toll on me, which most people don't get enough sleep.
I agree.
So it just piles on.
It's a snowball effect, man. What about number 3? What do you think? What else?
Man.
Jiu-jitsu? Fitness? 100%. I'm going to answer for you. 100%.
Well, yes.
If you take jiu-jitsu or CrossFit or something out of Philip Lewis's life, you're not a good human being. You're not good.
No, for sure.
So,
but like you said, it works for some, doesn't work for others.
For you, for sure.
For me, 100%, yes.
And here's the other thing. Do you know why some people probably struggle with sleeping at night? Because they don't do anything to tire themselves out.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they don't. Why is it when you take a kid or kids out on a boat,
man,
and they're in the sun and they're swimming and they're
Water
tubing
park or amusement park,
and they come home and they pass out?
Yeah.
Why is that? Because they actually did something that was strenuous. We did something that was difficult.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that everything that we do for our mental health has to be difficult, but I promise you, if we do something that is difficult, your brain will be a little more ready to sleep at the end of the day.
You're not wired at the end of the day.
And the other thing is, I think we talk ourselves into, oh, you know what, my break for me is vacation with the kids. Well, let me tell you something.
That's not vacation. I don't have kids.
I went and picked up Charlie. I flew Reagan home to Michigan Tuesday, dropped her off, picked Charlie up, flew back Wednesday. So I got to see everybody Tuesday morning when we left at the airport, and then Wednesday got to see another group of people. I have never seen, well, other than being at Disney World, I've never seen more miserable families than in that airport. You had, oh my gosh, it was great. I was just counting, like, how many unhappy families can I see here? And I get it.
It's most of them.
Oh, for sure. And I get it. Like, as a kid, you know, we used to tell my old man that when we traveled, it was travel mode. And that was the way he was. Until we got to where we were going, he was a little bit high strung. And by a little bit, I mean,
a lot.
Whew. And I get it. When we were traveling with 2 kids, young kids, it is stressful. But we also had to recognize that taking kids on vacation is not a vacation. It's not a reset. Mm-hmm. All right. And I think that's sometimes we spend so much time worrying about, I got to make sure we check this box and take my kids on vacation 3 times a year or 2 times a year or whatever, because that's what the expectation might be from everybody else. You see the stupid social media posts, and everybody's got the little happy family photos. Mm-hmm. And that was the one happy family photo they took. The other 97 of them that were deleted were the families fighting, the kids fighting. They
didn't see the hour it took to get that photo, where they had to line them up, get them quit crying.
Do I think experiences like that are important? Absolutely.
No.
But
absolutely not.
They are. You got to take your kids places. I get it. But that can't be the only outlet that you give yourself, because you're not coming back from that recharged, reset, ready to go. You're not. And what happens is we keep putting all this time, which is great. You know, I understand as a parent, we think we're doing the right thing when we invest so much of our lives into our kids. But what happens is, if we don't take care of ourselves, then now all of a sudden they're getting, the 60% version of us, because we're fried, man. We got nothing left. Mm-hmm. We're on fumes. So I think that whether it's going hiking, whether it's, I went on the Baton Death March with Frank. Frank's getting ready for a big 26-mile ruck up in the mountains, and he's invited me. I said, man, Frank, keep inviting me. I want to go with you. It just hadn't worked out. Finally worked out, and we went. And I'm telling you, and I like rucking. Like I'm being longer legs, being bigger, taller. Yeah. I enjoy it. Man, that guy, he's a different breed. We did 7 miles. At about the 6.5 mile mark, my feet started to literally implode inside my shoes. So it was just the perfect amount for me. He went on and kept going for another 9 miles after that and did 16. But to me, that, 7 mile ruck was as therapeutic as you could get for me. We were in the woods.
Yeah.
We didn't see anybody. It was just the two of us. We talked the whole time. It was awesome. I got back on my bike and rode it back to the house, and I was like, man, that was exactly what I needed. So to me, that was...
I'd like to go to that.
Hey, listen, I love you, and you're a tough son of a gun, but your little legs ain't keeping up with Mr. Frank.
I know I'd be in front of y'all.
Oh, no.
Because I'd start the ruck a day ahead of y'all.
So, that might be your thing. Maybe it's getting out in nature. Maybe it's, I think hiking's a great way to do it. But that, the other things you got to think about is, in addition to what these stress outlets are, which is more of your fitness-based, whether it's working out, whether it's walking, hiking,
yoga, whatever
biking, yoga, there's also got to be some things where there's a reason why we get our teeth cleaned every 6 months, right? You just need to take care of your body. We get one shot at this, all right? So that means chiropractor. That means today, man, I've been having some neck issues. And I went and saw Doc Jen, and man, she stuck some dry needles in my trap.
Which I'm having to pay for that appointment because it was from me tapping him in jiu-jitsu. Rear naked choke.
Okay.
Kind of tweaked it. He tried to fight it, and
well, now we have a comedy podcast because that's about us.
It never happened.
Fantasy podcast. But I was laying there on the table, and she had the needle in my trap, and I'm thinking to myself, man, this is terrible. And it locked up. I mean, it's been sore ever since I got out of there. I'm being a baby about it. But if I don't do that, and I mean, she must have found 20 trigger points in there. It was crazy. So if I don't work that stuff out, and I'm like, you know what? Nah, my body will just fix itself.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that. Man, you get all kinds of problems that start stemming from that. So we've got to understand that we've got to, and some people are like, well, I don't believe in the chiropractor, and I don't believe in, okay. You have the right to not believe in that type of thing, but you got to ask yourself, why don't you believe in it? Like, do you think our bodies are just going to fix itself? So
well, they just try to keep you coming back. I'm like, well, don't go back. Just go when you want. Just don't go back.
Or just try it for 3 or 4 months, and if you don't feel better, then fine, stop going.
You can have something to base it off of.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, I tore my ACL, but I'm not gonna get it fixed. It's gonna fix itself. Oh, really? Okay. Good luck with that. What are we, Wolverine?
Yeah.
And I think that there's just this big misconception out there that we don't need to take care of ourselves, or we don't need to perform this type of maintenance. And unfortunately, again, traveling through the Detroit airport and Charlotte airport, man, there are more and more wheelchairs going through that airport with middle-aged men and women. They're not. I used to see, when I was a kid, like the old veterans that were in there, like, 98-year-old. Yeah. You could tell he's got the VFW and the Vietnam hat.
And
I'm like, dude, I'll push that guy. Where are we going?
Yeah.
Now you got 40-year-old Joe Schmo that just can't get around anymore, and he's at the mercy of, I gotta wait. I'm just sitting here. I'm waiting for someone to come pick me up, and then they gotta get on the plane. Well, now it's just. That's the result of not taking care of ourselves.
I had somebody get mad at me when I brought that type of stuff up the other day. Wasn't in here, is outside the gym. Some people that don't work out. And I was just trying to get them to understand the importance of it and whatever. And they're like, well, you only get a certain amount of heartbeats in this life. Why am I going to waste them on working out? Or what's the point? You only get a certain number.
Yeah.
I was like, well, if you believe that, then never go to the doctor because there's no point. Just see what happens. If you only get a certain amount of heartbeats. And they were just trying to argue with me. And it got to the point where they literally turned it on me and said, oh, well, let me go join the gym because as long as I go to the gym, I can't get cancer.
Yeah.
That's what beats it. And I'm like, I never said that. I just said it could lower your chances if you work out a little bit and eat better. You still get it. It just might lower it a little bit.
Yeah,
But they flipped it on me, trying to make me like I was this bad person.
Yeah, and it's wild. And I think that that's one of those things
It's out
where
there everywhere.
people just don't want to hear about it. And the thing is, here's the crazy thing is, it doesn't benefit me personally by trying to get other people to be healthier.
No.
Like, it doesn't benefit.
And usually when I tell people that, it's the people I'm talking to about this type of stuff, I'm not walking up to a stranger I think there's 300 pounds overweight and saying, you need to come to the gym. It's people I know or care about, and they usually flip it on me. They're like...
And I think that it's so taboo now because we're not saying that there's a lot of circumstances out there that are out of people's control.
Yeah.
And I get that. What I'm trying to say is there's way more people that their circumstances are in their control, and they just don't have the mindset or the outlet to be able to make this shift. And what I'm trying to tell people is, look, find whatever it is. I don't care if you do CrossFit. I don't care what you do. Yeah. You've got to do something. You get out there and walk. I thought it was really interesting. We started doing those cold plunges, and Marty Williams, smart guy, he redoes his bathroom. He was redoing a part of his master bathroom, and he started paying attention to. And his wife is super smart when it comes to this recovery, and they've got this set up to where they'll do cold showers, they'll do they've got an outdoor sauna, and they've got a hot tub in there, and they'll just kind of cycle through this. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of when he's not feeling well, when he's had like a long weekend traveling a lot,
feel drained,
he'll come out there and he'll sweat it out in the sauna. He'll take a cold shower and do a couple different cycles of that, and he's found that really, really helps. And so that's his protocol that they will do. And will it work for everybody? No. Does everybody have the ability to put that in there? No. Does everybody have the discipline to stand underneath a cold shower or sit in that hot sauna? No. But for him, that's what works. So people got to find what that is. When people find that they're angry all the time, so, there was a really interesting, I saw a quote, and I couldn't tell you who it was from, but they said, if you had $86,400.
Oh, I've seen that.
And I stole $10 from you, would you just throw the rest away because someone stole $10 from you?
No.
Well, there's 86,400 seconds in a day or something like that.
Yeah.
And
why let them ruin that?
Why let someone take 10 seconds of that time and ruin the rest of your day? Yeah. And it really puts it in perspective. And
but you didn't like kicking the cat.
I didn't like kicking the cat. No, it was not really. But I think that goes to if we let that emotional trigger happen, it's because we're in a kind of a dangerous state of mind because we don't have an outlet. Here's an example. When we finish a tough CrossFit class, and it's brutal, maybe it's a team of 3 workout, and we finish, and we're laying on the ground. There's actually, my memory came up. You were on the ski on your back with your legs up on the ski.
Remember that one? Oh my gosh.
And I could have called you every name in the book. I could have made fun of your dog.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't have.
I don't care.
You wouldn't have cared.
I don't care what you said.
And I think I'm jumping out on a limb here and taking a pretty extreme stab at this, but my point is when your body is feeling that you're so triggered, I think it's because you've just got this pent up aggression in there that you need to get out somehow.
Yeah. Whether
it's just getting off by yourself, or most of the time, I hate to say it, but some type of physical activity is probably the answer. We need to tire you out a little bit so you're not so sensitive.
Yeah.
People spend too much time behind these stupid tablets and computers being mean to each other and being triggered by things, and we don't have any way to get out of it, so we just be ugly to people.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of ugly people out there, and that's I think you could fix that by what you said, Trim the fat off your schedule. And then some people got to work. I'm with you. Sometimes you got to be around a bunch of people for work, and you got a bunch of stuff going on. Cool, but there's a lot of time left in that day that you could say, you know what, I'm gonna build this around me, and that means, you know what, I'm not gonna go to the barbecue. I'm not gonna go to the movies. I'm not gonna do these things. I'm gonna just spend some time with me, type of thing.
On the weekends, if my weekends are things that I have to do and not necessarily want to do, man, I'm a mean person.
Yeah.
I'm not very nice. I'm not as happy. I'm not nice. So I had to on the weekends, I had to really cut things out that I used to do.
And we've talked about this before, but the only other way to provide the same feeling but not the same result, it's the same feeling as the euphoria from working out, or the what's the word I'm looking for? If you're the solidarity of being out in the woods, for some it's hunting. For someone like, Frank, it's being in the woods, it's being outdoors. That's the superpower that he needs to kind of reset. The only other way that you can find those things is through drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the rub. And as addicted as
or some people, I guess, would say there's food addictions or whatever, right?
Sure.
Maybe food.
Yeah.
More drugs and alcohol, but I think some people's like, well, every time I'm feeling mad, sad, whatever, I get cake, I get I don't know if there's that much of that. But
yeah,
there's some.
There is for sure. I think the majority of people are getting it from the opioids, the pills, the painkillers, the
ABC store,
the liquor, and that is going to greatly limit your ability to actually do any type of self-care, to implement any type of maintenance program for yourself, because that is just going to wear down your discipline. It's going to wear down your motivation. It's going to wear down every part of you that you need to get up and actually do something productive. Because, man, it is not easy. I don't care how long whatever physical activity is that you do, cycling, yoga, working out, whatever it is, no matter how long you do that, it still is tough. I mean, we've all seen. I'm not a huge David Goggins guy. I don't hang on every word that he says. I laugh a lot about how blunt he is, and I enjoy that. But he even talks about it. That dude's as crazy as any of us, and he talks about putting his shoes on all the time. Why? Because even he has to get past that point of putting his shoes on, because he doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to get out there and run. He doesn't want to get out there and train. So if it's tough for him, imagine how tough it is for the guy
ain't done it in 20
that's
years.
hungover and working off, 3 oxys.
Yeah.
He ain't doing nothing.
No.
And now all of a sudden, it's just before you know it, no one realizes how fast that happens, but you're the guy that's 45 years old in a wheelchair at the Detroit Metro Airport getting pushed around.
Yeah.
And that is a very tough thing to come back from. And, and you got people that have had back surgeries or knee surgeries or hip surgeries. And if you don't take care of yourself, if you don't, have a go-to, do I love surgeons? Not really. People, if you go to a surgeon, guess what he's going to want to, this is what to do for you. He's going to want to cut on you.
Yeah.
If you go to a butcher shop, they're going to try and sell you some meat.
Yeah.
So I think that the functional medicine, the functional doctors out there are going to be the future of how we can treat some of these things, because they're trying to get to the root cause of this. And I think that we can get one step ahead of this by having some sort of outlet. That's why, look, why do you think back in the 80s and 90s, what did a lot of the ladies do? And I'm not being sexist, but what did a lot of ladies do? They knitted, they sewed, they did, is it crochet?
I think so, yeah.
They a lot of them did that. Why did they do that? Because it's monotonous. Their brain kind of turn off.
Yeah.
And it's that same pattern all over again, so they can stop thinking about anything else. They have to focus on enough so they don't make a mistake, but it becomes muscle memory for them.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, people are finding that through their phones and through TV. And I think that's a very dangerous thing. So we've got to get better at figuring out what it is that find it. There's something out there. Skydiving, rock climbing,
We should
whatever.
do that.
Man,
Have you ever done that?
I have not.
Well, me and you should.
I don't know.
Why not?
You know that the Lucas guy that was in here? He was a military guy. He teaches it. So if I ever do it, it'll be with him.
Man, we should do it.
100%.
I'm strapped to you all day.
He was a Halo jump master.
Oh, my gosh.
I would not be strapped. You strapped to me?
Neither or.
What? I mean, listen, there's a weight limit on those things. There's
We're
only
fine.
what?
We're
You know how many times someone's told me, "Hey, how much do you weigh?" Ooh, I think you'll be okay. What do you mean? I think you'll be okay. I did one roller coaster, and the thing wouldn't shut all the way.
Didn't you get off?
Listen,
You got off, didn't you? You never rode it.
it was a different one. We're not.
No.
It was a different. We're not.
That's not
We're not going to talk about. I don't think we're going to bring that up right now. I don't think we're.
Oh, no, I'm thinking about that. That's great. Big guy.
All right, so I'll give you the 30-second version just because.
Can I tell it first?
No.
My version?
No. We go down to Disney, and Crowder and his wife were down there, and we're like, oh my gosh, Crowder's there. So we went to the where's the park?
Universal Studios?
You drink all the beers through all the different countries.
Oh, God, I don't know that.
Oh man. Anyways, you guys know what I'm talking about. And there's one ride there. It's called Battle Space or something.
Sounds fun.
And you're walking through it. And this is right after we got back from my second deployment. And I was never a big...
You were lean.
I was never big on... I didn't care about small space. I wasn't claustrophobic. But what was happened, when we were in these LAVs. And these LAVs, when they would get hit, we never got hit by an IED. But these tanks and LADs were getting hit by... Or these Humvees and LAVs, like 8-wheeled track vehicles, were getting hit by these IEDs. And they were getting crushed, and people were getting trapped inside of them, and these Marines were burning alive. It was a terrible thing.
That.
And I remember hearing about it when we were over there. And when we got in these LAVs, the opening was made for someone like you, like a little person,
short and stocky.
Yeah, like
normal people,
like a little person, like
people.
a little person. So I was always kind of stressed because I'm like, man, I can barely, like, if I just got down in there, I didn't have a lot of range of motion. And
then it changed the recruiting requirements at the Marines.
So when I got back, I started to struggle a little bit with being claustrophobic. And we went, but I wasn't, mentally I hadn't accepted that fact yet. You know what I mean? Like, I still thought I was good. Yep. So we're walking through these lines. And there's nobody in line. We're walking through these, the little
rope
thing. And every 30 feet, there's a monitor that says, if you're claustrophobic, this ride is not for you.
You're starting to sweat more and more as you're going through there?
I never even, I looked at every one of those screens.
Whatever.
I said, well, whatever. I'm telling you, no less than 30 warnings.
Oh my gosh.
So we get in there and it's Crowder, Rachel, his wife, Jess, and me. There's just 4 of us. And it's this little spaceship thing. And I get in there, I was fine. I said everything was good. Yeah. And when they came in to put the seatbelt, it was like the harness, like a flight harness. And they put it down, and I just put my hands right here because I don't like being pinned down. I don't like not being able to move. So I put
is that why you're always on top in jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
You make sure you're not getting pinned?
So I put my hands in front, and then they tightened everything down. I let my hands go, and I could move. Everything was good. I was happy. Still,
you're not supposed to be able to move.
Doesn't matter. So there was no issue. Like, even at this point, I was like, I'm fine. Not even no concern. And we're all laughing. We were talking, and Crowder and I were laughing about something back in the old days. And, well, then the ride gets ready to start, and the dashboard starts raising up. When the dashboard raised up, it came right to my face, and went back like this. Well, when I back like this, the seatbelt caught and locked me in. And I was like, oh, God. And I mean, I'm telling you, dude, that thing is 2 inches from your face, and I am pinned.
I love this.
And the door shuts, and it's like hitting my shoulder. And I took a deep breath, and Jess looks over. She's like, you good? I said, yeah, I'm good. And I'm like trying to like take a deep breath. I'm like, dude, I'm 30 years old.
You're good.
I'm a Marine. Like, what am I going to do? I took another breath. I'm like, I'm just going to count back from 5. Everything's going to be good. I got back to about 2 when I was counting down. And I said, out loud, I said, no.
No,
we're done. And Crowder's like, ha. I said, no, man. We're done. Jess is like, no, what do you mean? No.
I'm out.
We're out. I said, hey, guys, wrap it up. We're done.
You didn't even start the ride yet.
No, it didn't even start yet.
Oh.
And I beat on the door like 3 times. I said, hey, guys, we're done. I'm out. And nothing's happening. So
if I was the guy running that roller coaster, I'd have said, see y'all when you get back. I'd have hit the button.
So now Jess is like fairly concerned because I'm starting to kind of like wiggle around the seat. And I'm 250 pounds at this time, 245 pounds. And you can see the camera in there. They got cameras in there.
Yeah.
I said, listen, guys, I'm going to count to 5. I'm ripping myself out of this machine. I don't care what happens. I'm getting out. And I start beating on that door, I put my elbow into that thing.
Oh, my gosh.
And finally, the whole thing goes. The door,
you shut everybody's ride down.
The door opens, and it's like a 15-year-old kid.
Oh, God.
And I said, hey, man, listen. Get me out of here. I'm gone. I look at the other 3. I said, hey, guys, I'm sorry. I'm
you
really
didn't
sorry.
Go with them?
I said, you guys go ahead. Crowder and Jess looked at me and Rachel. They said, we're not going in this thing. We all got up.
All got out.
And we had to walk the back way out. And all these workers are staying there. And I was profusely sweating from head to toe, dripping sweat. And these
we should
kids,
go back and ride
these
that.
These kids must have thought I was the biggest sissy on the planet.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, man, again, maybe my mental health wasn't in the right spot. But that was my roller coaster story.
We should do that again. I'm going to look it up and see if it's still there.
Oh, it's still there, 100%.
Well, I'm going to look it up.
100%. So yeah, that was a dark spot in my.
Man, that'd be a good podcast or a vlog from the inside of that battleship thing.
If you could get the footage from that,
oh man,
it would be worth a lot of money because people would hang that over my head
forever.
I mean, I'm telling you, that thing was about to get torn apart from the inside. Jess's face. This is like 10 years ago, you know.
Oh, here comes the dash. Uh-oh. It's kind of like when you hit the brake in your car or truck and you get hung up. I don't like that either.
Yeah. So, I digress. But the big takeaway from today is you've got to, avoid that mission space ride.
Yeah.
But find something. Find an outlet. And if you can't think of one, it means you don't have one.
A healthy outlet.
Yeah, and it means you gotta get one. So if you can't articulate 1 or 2 things that you do on a weekly, monthly basis that helps you reset, then you don't have a healthy outlet.
Yeah.
And you've got to find one. You've got to. And do something that will increase your ability to stay mobile throughout the later years in your life. My dad was 40 pounds overweight 15 years ago, and now he's lost a bunch of weight, and it's incredible what he's able to do now. If he would have been 40 pounds heavier right now, he ain't hunting the way that he is. Yeah. He's not fishing the way that he is. And so you got to figure that out, and we've got to do some self-maintenance. Maybe that means you get a Theragun and have your spouse or your girlfriend or significant other
traps, do something.
Because it's not feasible that your spouse is going to give you a massage once a month.
Day, yeah.
It's not, and your significant other is a masseuse.
Oh yeah, just think about it. Like if you work somewhere doing a certain thing all day,
you're not getting.
Do you want to do that when you get home? Like you don't really know.
But what
people
Phil
make fun
should
of me
do
because I go to the Chinese mall, whatever thing, and people's like, "Man, you pay for that, or you go there?" I'm like, Yeah. Steve's on top of me 12 hours a week in jiu-jitsu. I'm a little tight. So I don't mind going there for 30 minutes, paying $20 or whatever, and letting the lady elbow my trap to get knots out. It's a relief. I relax. My heart rate gets to like 51 during that. I'm dead. And then I feel so much better.
You got to, and you got to do something, whether that's chiropractic, whether it's go do a massage. Get with Morgan, Philip's girlfriend. Get with Corey right here at Vitality. Do something. And if you're like, oh, I don't like massages. Okay.
I don't like people pushing on my fat.
Yeah.
Well, then get unfat. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I hear all kinds of stuff
If
like
you've
that.
got some weird thing that is, I don't like people touching me. Okay, I get it. But again, you've got to see the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is look around. Obesity and chronic illness is going to be more prevalent than it is right now, and it is incredibly prevalent right now today.
Yeah.
So I just read the other day by 2050 they're saying our population is going to grow 25 to 30 million people. That's insane. It's insane. So here's the problem. What's that mean?
These people need to quit having kids.
To me, that means there's going to be less and less opportunity to move around. You're going to be more cramped. You're going to be more stuck in one place. You're going to be stuck in a car. You're going to be stuck in an office. You've got to find something. If that means, maybe that's the good thing about that is maybe people will be able to walk to work. Maybe people will be able to ride a bike to work. Maybe they're going to be able to run or whatever. Businesses are going to have to start to be better about providing outlets for their employees. I'm lucky here at Vitality. All of my coaches and my staff, they can work out whenever they want. If they get their stuff done, I don't care. Go down and work out for 3 hours a day. Spencer works out 5 hours a day. He gets everything done. You know, you work out 20 to 25 minutes a day.
Yeah.
You know, you got time for that.
Yeah, because I'm busier than Spencer now. I understand.
So, look, find that thing, figure it out, try it. And if you don't have a thing, just ask somebody and say, hey, what do you do? And just tag along with them. I guarantee you.
I don't like anything. Well, yeah, you do.
If you get dragged through the woods by Frank for 7 miles, it will fix your sleep. It will fix a lot of things. Yeah. Okay. But you gotta try it first. Yes. Is it hot outside in the summer? Yeah. Is it cold outside in the winter? Yeah. We just gotta figure it out. But, for me personally, my biggest fear has always been to have to depend on somebody else, whether that's pushing me through the airport. I tried to help as many people as I could put their bags up in the overhead thing just to be nice. But there's a lot of people that couldn't do it themselves, like people that weren't even 50 yet. They couldn't lift their suitcase up without like the fear of dropping on someone's head. Yeah. And that would be one of my biggest fears is like, man, to not be capable of just doing everyday things. Yeah. And that's what we're on pace for. If you don't start paying attention to taking care of this body that we get one of them. You get one.
That's why I'm not going to jiu-jitsu tomorrow.
Well, we are going. We
take care of my body, keep you off of it.
It's almost like tempering is what I'm doing to you.
Tell you, yeah. How many times has my back cracked when you get on top of me? A lot.
Like you should start paying me for that.
I start taking deep breaths, exhale, and I try to time it to where it does pop.
I'm gonna talk to Steve. I'm gonna actually have you start paying my membership fees.
Okay, great.
I mean, it would come out in the wash. So, guys, I hope this has been somewhat helpful. I hope it makes you kind of look at what your routine is. And again, don't overcomplicate it. You don't got to drive 4 hours to go do something. Like, just find something close, find something convenient, and then try it. Dabble in it. And if you don't like it, then don't do it. But at some point, you got to find something. You got to find something, and alcohol and pills will not be the answer. And here's the thing: if you're like, man, I need to take sleeping pills or Ambien or whatever, again, let Frank drag you through the woods for 7 miles or whatever that might be.
You'll sleep good.
You won't need Ambien, all right? you better have a good alarm clock because you'll sleep through the night is what it's going to be. So, guys, until next time, this is the Built by Vitality podcast.